my first time. Actually, this will be my third time. All right. No, that's number 3.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be all right. All right. If you need to loosen something up to get oxygen to the brain, let me know. Are you videotaping this?
Yes, sir.
Amazing. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about hydrant, and then we're going to do a couple things with the hydrant. There are essentially 3 things, possibly 4 things that you would do with a hydrant. One would be in a forward lay. What would we need to do in a forward lay?
So the engine would drop someone off at the hydrant, and he'd grab the hose and the hydrant bag, and the truck would drive off to the scene.
Yeah. So how would we attach it before it drives off? What would we do?
So you'd wrap the LDH around the hydrant to make a base point so it holds it. So when the truck pulls away, it hooks onto the hydrant.
So the way we would wrap it, there's a few different ways, but the way I'm going to teach you today is basically go around the hydrant. Now what I like to do is throw it underneath. Okay? Try to get a little slack in there. The more slack you have, the more room you have. Okay? So then after it's wrapped, you would tell the truck, go ahead. All right. So they went, they're on their merry way. After that's done, we would then do 2 things. One is called flushing, the other is dressing. Flushing, all we're doing is we're taking off the front big one, they call it the steamer. We're going to take that off, we're going to open this up, we're going to let water out. The reason we flush, there's actually 2 reasons why. Anybody know one reason why we would flush it before we would hook it up?
In case there's like stuff in the hydrant, like cans.
Cans, oh.
Yeah.
Are you the one that does that?
No.
Okay.
That's just what they told us at our station.
Yeah, that's true. What's your station?
South Lion.
Yeah, they like to do that in South Line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you can have just dirt, debris. You can also have bad water in there. So that water has probably been sitting in there for 4 or 5 years, maybe they haven't flushed it in a while. So get rid of that old crappy water, and then get some clean water before you put it into your engine. The other reason, there's another reason.
Make sure the hydrant works.
That's crazy talk. Yep. So make sure it works. So we flush it for 2 reasons. One,
Is there any bad water?
bad water or debris. Yeah. That was the first app I ever bought in my life, like 10 years ago.
Who did the
And it's
coolest?
still the funniest thing in the world.
That's good.
I was like,
My
Captain.
favorite. Number 19.
I really thought somebody
Number
did
19?
Well, I
I turned around like-
Captain walked next to me. I'm like, do I say anything? Captain's like right here, and he just did it right next to me. I'm like,
All right. Look like you know something. I might even take your picture.
All right. So, yep, get rid of debris. The other reason?
Make sure the hydrant is working.
That's it. So the first step is to flush the hydrant. So we're going to turn this knob after we take apart that front part. Now, you might hear a couple, depending on who you talk to, you might hear some different naming conventions of this thing called a hydrant. You may hear it called a plug. Has anyone heard that before? You have? You know why they call it the plug?
not really.
So in the olden days, way before me, probably Captain Kursky remembers this,
No.
they had wooden
Water mains.
water mains. It wasn't made out of steel or plastic like it might have been today. And it would be underground. And so when they had a fire, they would actually dig a hole to find that line, and they would cut it, or if there was already a plug there, they would remove it and put their basically appliance on there, and they would get water from that, and that would be called a plug. So essentially, there's a big fat water main underneath a lot of the main streets in this area, so Grand River, and all they do is they place a plug in there and they affix it, weld it in, and so it's there permanently. So basically, this is just a plug or a hydrant. Another thing you may hear is the front part, the big hole on the front side of a fire hydrant might be called a steamer. And so that is what is giving most of our water out. So we don't call it the front side or the big side, we usually call it the steamer. And the reason for that is sometimes in the olden days, the water was pretty warm because they didn't want it to freeze. And because they used coal to generate the power to pump water through, sometimes it would come out hot. And when it came out hot, it would steam. And so they call that front thing the steamer. So the front one is the steamer, and the sides are just the side ones, okay? So, so when we flush it, we are gonna take this front steamer cover off, and this is a 5-inch what? Anybody know what kind of connector this is? Storz, yeah. This is a Storz. Now, depending on where you are, South Line might have 4-inch. Howell, they have a mixture of 5 and 4-inch. It's still Storz, it's just different sizes. So we'll remove that, we'll open this, and we'll flush it to get rid of debris and to make sure it works. The second step is what? Dressing. So the whole thing is called dressing. So why don't you go ahead and take this off? Go ahead and get rid of this LDH. Get it out of the way. The truck's already left. And I would like you to put on your gloves when you get a chance. Oh, around the ground right next to you. That's perfect. All right, glove up. And here's your hydrant bag. You're going to take off the front steamer or the front Storz connection and then open it up. This one. Don't knock over the camera. So first, open up that front steamer. Yeah. Have you opened up a Storz before?
No.
All right, there's a tab that you have to hold down. Yeah. There you go. Drop it on the ground. Let's go ahead and pass this around. It says 5-inch on there. Go ahead and open it up. 5-inch for 5-inch steamer, and it has a tab here to lock it. So that locks it so that it stays in place. Touch. Feel. All right. Which way do you open it? Which way do you open it? Right or left? Left. You see that? Also, it has an arrow. It says open this way, and that is the right way. Okay, so it's open. It flows out the water. The debris out. It's clear water, and it works. All right. What's the next step? Dress. I want you to say dress.
Dressing.
Dress the hydrant. So dress the hydrant. We attach the LDH to the steamer. Yeah. So the trick with Storz, like when you're connecting Storz, when you're looking at it, you're going to see tabs wherever they are. You will find the tabs on your attachment and just go to the right of that. So you don't want the tabs to bang up against you. That's not going to do anything. You want to go just to the right of it. So when you're looking at it, just go a little bit to the right, flat, and click. See the tabs? To the right of it. That's the left. All right, right. This is the right side. Okay. Make it flat, and then spin it to the right. So you hear a click. So there's a tab there. You got your tab on yours. You don't want to go right on it. You want to go to the right, make it flat, and spin. A couple things that happen here you may not have heard, but there was a little click. That click is locking it in. That's that clicking there. 2, there's a little arrow here. You can barely see it, but there's arrows lining up. That means you're good to go. All right, so part of the dressing means putting the 2.5 on here. So put this thing here on the side there. Any side, doesn't matter. Maybe the side that you're on. There you go. Yep, put it on there. All right, looks good. So let's take this thing off too. That's all right. You didn't see the video yet. I got this full video here. I'm going to show it. It's actually pretty good. All right, this is a video of forward lay. Here, you can hold that. Don't drop it.
I got it.
Have to get one drop, not drop.
I actually should probably look at it to make sure it's the right video. Yeah, it looks good. All right. So he doesn't wrap it. That's the way they do it. But he would wrap it normally, and he would drive away. After he gets it up, he's going to open up. Actually, he's tightening them all down. Make sure they work. It's kind of lame. Whatever. Let's get this party started. And then he would flush it. Flush it. Now that is their LDH. That's 3-inch LDH. That's loser. See how it came out ugly brown?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's all he's doing is flushing it out, getting rid of that junk. Then he connects. He's putting a 2.5 on there as an outlay, as a valve, and then he hooks it up. Pretty cool, huh?
Yes,
So
sir.
exciting. YouTube is amazing. All right. So you got this valve on there, and there's a couple reasons why we have the valve. One is so that we can add more supply. A second reason is so when we're done, we can take it apart. Because can you take this off if it's under pressure?
No.
No. So that we would use to relieve pressure. All right, so if I had to take this thing off, would this be in the way? Yeah, it would be. If you went straight up, so we don't want to do that because if we had to take this off, it was really tight, we would use one of these and we would be like, oh man, right? You would get stuck. Also, if it was straight up, you wouldn't be able to open or close it. Once it's under pressure, you're not going to be able to move this. So we always go to the rear and flat because there's nothing impeding the valve and there's nothing getting in the way of spinning this or anything. So which way do we go for the side 2.5?
To the rear.
Go to the back and flat. Flat back, always.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. You got it? First one. Take it apart. So you see that nut on the top? That's how you open and close the hydrant or the plug. After he takes off that steamer, I want you to stick your head in there and see if you can see that line. There's like a bolt that goes straight down. It's like a pole. You see it?
Yeah, it's like a thing.
See it?
Yes, sir.
Anyone want to see the pole? What's that pole? Anybody know? Put it back together. Anybody know what the pole is?
That's not open, like the open hydrant.
Yes, you are correct. So this hydrant is actually hollow, and all hydrants, for the most part, are hollow, and they go all the way down. One more. They go all the way down, probably about 4 feet. The reason for that is they don't want it to freeze. Okay? All right, go ahead and get it. What's the first thing you do?
Take this, not this, I forget what this is called. Take this off.
What's the first thing we're gonna do?
Wrap it.
Okay, we would wrap it, that's true. But what's the first thing we would do before we use a hydrant? We would, I'm looking for the word that you would do after you use the toilet.
Flush.
Flush! That's correct. So flush the hydrant. Not wrap it, don't wrap it. Just flush the hydrant. What are 2 reasons we would flush the hydrant?
This is where you get it. Make
Yep.
sure there's water with it.
Make sure it works, yep. Flush it. So open it up.
That'd be sad to get everything set up and it not work.
That's true. All right, it's flushed. What's the second thing you do?
Dress.
Dress! Go ahead and dress it. All right, so whenever we do hydrant stuff, go ahead and leave it on top there. Just leave it, just hanging there, yep. We usually just leave it there so that if we need to turn it on or turn it off, we know where it is. Sometimes it gets puddly or muddy around there. If you drop your hydrant wrench in that junk, you might not ever find it again. So we just leave it up top there. Good, you got that going on? Perfect. Oh yeah, that's good. That's some good stuff. Cool. These will fit. All right. All right, which way should the valve be?
This should be on the back and flat.
Holy moly, that's amazing. All right. Any questions? Hydrant in the closet. You heard it here first. Now, depending on where you go, if you were to, let's go all the way back to NFPA, that's the standard, right? There's a standard for water supply, and part of that is hydrants. The NFPA actually has color codes for the type of hydrant it is, because not all hydrants are the same. Some hydrants are coming from a cistern or some other water source, and they don't spit out a lot of water, so their volume, or gallons per minute, is pretty crappy. So they might color it something different, all right? So there might be one, they have like 0 to 500 gallons per minute, 500 to 1,000, you know, and so it might be different colors. So when you do this section, you'll probably learn that standard. Not every municipality does that, because municipalities, they get to paint it whatever color they want. And what color are they gonna color a fire hydrant?
Red.
Red, because it's amazing. But some places will color it black, some are white. It has to match the decor, all right? So don't get too hung up on that, especially in this county, but there is reason for that. Also too, hydrants don't always look like this. They don't always have a front steamer that's 5-inch Stewarts and 2 sides for 2.5s. If you go to Detroit, it's all 2.5s, all right? They don't use Stewarts, they don't believe in that crap, all right? So they're in a different type of municipality, they have different needs. You go to South Lyon, it'll be 4-inch. I think I said that already, right? Maybe I did. So it's gonna be Stewarts, but it's gonna be smaller. Okay, so don't get too hung up on that. All right, undress the hydrant.
Yes, sir.
So that 2.5, if this LDH was full of water, would be under a little bit of pressure. So we would use that 2.5 to either bleed off the hydrant so that we can get the pressure off that Stewarts. Or another thing is, if we had another truck or we wanted another line, we could pull another line off that hydrant. So give us what we call heavy water. 4 minutes. Now I told you this hydrant, go ahead, take it off. All right, so you gotta find the tab, hold it down, all right, because it's locked in there. Now I did tell you that this thing's hollow, probably 4 feet below the ground. So after we're done with the hydrant, it's that hydrant, that tube, 4 feet all the way down is all full of water. In the wintertime, like right now, if it's below 30 degrees, we will flush out the hydrant. We will connect an air line into the side of the hydrant. We turn on the compressor and it would blow the water out. Okay? The reason for that is we don't want it to freeze, right? All right, so in this hydrant bag, you would have different tools. One, you're going to have, what's this called?
Spanner.
What's this called? Spanner. They're just different sizes, right? This one's kind of the cool one because it has both sizes, big and little. Okay? You also have adapters. Not all of them come with a Stewarts. Some of them have a threaded. So this is a threaded 4-inch to a 5-inch Stewarts. This is pretty standard. Not all of them have Stewarts. And the reason for that is Stewart's connectors are branded and they're expensive. So it might be cheaper to put in a hydrant, and who pays for it?
City.
Yeah, it might be the city, it might be the developer of the essentially the subdivision. You also have Stewart's, this would be a south line thing, so 5-inch to 4-inch Stewart's conversion. Okay, all those things would be in your hydrant kit depending on your fire department. So this is only 1.5 inches here, 2 to 1.5 inches. You might come off that. This might be for standpipe operation really, but. All right, any other questions? All right, so you could say, it may have been on your bucket list, but you could say that you learned how to do hydrants in a closet for the rest of your fire career. All right, put that all away. Hydrant ready for that, and go ahead and rotate.